Mend with me. Hi, my name's Lauren. I teach visible mending, and today we're going to go over the basic steps of visible mending while patching out the small hole in a work shirt. The basic supplies you'll need for visible mending are scissors, thread, needle, patch fabric, and you'll need some pins. I decided to use a blue t-shirt as a patch fabric for this project. This isn't the same patch as the other one, but I didn't want to address the raw edges and t-shirt doesn't fray, so I decided to use it. First thing I'm going to do is pin my patch on the back side of my fabric, covering the hole. And I'm going to pick a piece of contrasting thread from my scrap jar. I'm going to tie a knot and thread my needle and make wide, loose stitches along the edge of my patch. These are called basting stitches. They're meant to be able to be snipped away and removed later. It's a temporary stitch that holds a seam or a patch in place. There are other things you can do other than this. There is adhesive or a glue stick might work, but this is how I like to do it. When you're finished, you'll tie a knot at the end and snip away the excess thread. Next, you're going to snip away any fraying threads around the hole or the tear that you are going to mend. And for the mend itself, I decided to use the matching thread that I previously used. One thing you can choose to do is tuck under the raw edges of your tear. This will make your hole bigger but prevent further fraying. You can also choose to tack it as it lives, fraying threads and all. I find the choices really is just aesthetic, whether you want to see fraying threads or not. Next, you'll use the whip stitch. To do this, you'll insert the needle in through your patch fabric, push it out through the fabric of your clothing, and repeat the same stitch all the way around your hole. And this does take a little bit of time, especially when the holes are small like this. I use things like my scissors to push under the raw edges and catch it with a thread. Once you've sewn around the entire perimeter of your hole, you will finish with your needle on the back side of your project. At this point, you can draw yourself guidelines with a fabric pen, a pencil, chalk, a fabric marker, anything like that. I chose to use our stick and stitch wash away patterns. This is just a really easy transfer method, a little bit of a hack, if you will. Once you've cut the pattern to the size you need, remove it from the backing and place it on top of your mend. You'll grab your needle and thread again that's at the back of your project, bring it up through your fabric on the first line, and you'll use the running stitch to cover every single dash. Because the patch fabric and the work shirt materials are both fairly thin, it was easy to get several runs of the needle through the fabric. I finished embroidering one line, I hopped over to the next from underneath the fabric, brought my needle up to start the new line, and I did that until my entire patch was covered. Now this pattern is only staggered dashed lines, but I decided to embroider horizontal dashes covering the vertical dashes, making a little cross pattern across the whole thing. I didn't have any guides for this. I could have used one of the grid patterns to help myself, but I chose to do this too late. However, it is pretty easy to freehand it. When you're finished, you will end on the back side of your project. You will tie a knot and snip away any loose threads. A little trick I like to use to keep my knot close to my fabric is to anchor my needle through the large loop of my knot so that when I pull tight, it slides down and is flush to the back of my fabric. Next, you'll clip the basting stitches. Don't force it, some might be caught in the embroidery or under the transfer on the other side. But pull away what you can and snip away the excess patch. When you're finished, you will wash and dry your clothing as normal. The stick and stitch patterns completely wash away and all that's left is your embroidery. It's a nice subtle mend on a hole that was definitely about to get bigger, and who can resist pouring some love into something for somebody that you love? Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you on the next.